that's just stupid on a whole nother level, if you ask me. To go in the club and buy bottles, $50 bottles, a bottle of Hennessy for $500. Like that, I don't get it.
You don't get it. Hey man, but see, Rocky, well listen, I'm gonna say this, Rocky, you and I are the same age. I'm gonna blame my generation, and I'm gonna blame a guy that's in jail now. Blame Puffy. Because that ghetto fabulous lifestyle that we grew up on. See, let me tell y'all something. Don't let Rocky do that. Oh man, we create. Hey man, the Moet and the champagne, that was our song. We got to take it. We got to own that. We got to own that now. Come on now. When Mary J was, and Lil' Kim and Vic, come on now. Moet in the club, come on, bro.
Hey, but we also was the people. We invented pre-gaming. That was our thing. Like, we get to the club already a little tipsy, Mr. Campbell. You know that.
That's true too. That's true. But I mean, I cannot let that Puff era. Cause like I say, hey man, I threw big parties during that time for some of the biggest people in the country. And trust me, man.
I guess you're right. People that were living on that level, it was publicized and propagated all out to the whole world, and it become. But we talking about. Yeah. I'm talking about guys that work in Foot Locker buying bottles, Coach.
Oh yeah, now listen. Now hold on. This is funny, but this is what I told my kid. This is what bothers me about this generation. When we were out, this is a true story, right? So we all moved to Atlanta, right, and everything. So a lot of the guys, they went to Morehouse and they went to Hampton, they went to Fam, So we all threw parties all over the country, right? Alumni parties, right? So maybe about 1:30, you start seeing a certain group of people leaving. People like, man, where you going, man? I got to go to work in the morning, man. Where you working at, man? I work at AT&T. Where you working? I work at IBM. Bro, we had jobs. See, so not only did we throw the ball, we actually had a real job. Now, these jokers here don't even have no real jobs. That's my problem with them. So whatever scam money that they get in credit cards, PP loans, and all that, 8-9 people in the apartment, so they all go to the club, and then when you ask them, do they have a job, they don't know what they're. We had jobs. Now, I'm telling you, all my boys that threw parties, all over the country, they all had real good jobs. And that's how we were able to throw the party, because we had the money from the jobs that we had. But, bro, when it was come 2 o'clock, bro, we was out because we had to be up at 7 in the morning to go work.
Oh, man. Hey, the moral of the story is, before the HBCU alumni, before you buy a bottle, send a check to your alma mater. You know what I mean? That's what we get. Before you buy a bottle, send a check to your alma mater. That rhymes somehow. I don't know how it rhymes, but it works. But, hey, Coach Cole, I want to thank you for joining us, man. We had Chuck Hunt on the call with us, man. But I'm glad that you were able to join us. I told him that you were helping out a friend, and that's just the kind of guy you are, is that you're always going to be in position to help a friend when you can.
Hey, Coach Cole, how are you doing?
Oh, man, I'm wonderful. How you guys doing? Y'all talking about the old times, boy. I'll tell you what. And one thing we did put on too, Coach Cap, we put some clothes on.
Oh, man, we were dead sharp, Coach. Dead sharp.
The slacks, the shirt. We always came looking church ready.
Couldn't get no club with no tennis shoes, Coach. You couldn't get in. Had to have the hard bottoms on.
No. Yes, sir. You had to. You know what I mean? And look, Mr. Ed, we danced when we got there. We didn't huddle up over somebody.
They tell me.
Hunching. We danced.
Hey, they tell me all the dance floors are gone in the clubs now. I haven't been
they all gone.
30 years. But they say the dance floors are gone.
Yeah.
They all gone.
Look, we was out in Atlanta and Florida Jail and walked to the club, and every area was a bottle service area. Wasn't no dance floor. It was the bar, and then it was crazy. Look, what we do, Campbell, we ordered that chicken and ate at the bar and went home.
And went home. Listen, okay, guys. As Scotty said, I got to do a story time. So I have a friend of mine named Teddy Gilmore, big FAMU alumnus. Teddy was one of the biggest promoters in the country. So Teddy still knows these young promoters, right? So Teddy calls me and said, "Hey, Steve, we're going over to this club in Atlanta." So Coach Cole is with me. So me and Coach said we're going to go there. So we go into this club. We are clearly 30 years older than everybody in this club. 30 years older than everybody in this club. And the only people that are dressed are the people that are with Teddy and us from FAMU, because Teddy's an Alpha, so it's a bunch out to the Alphas. So all his frat brothers that are all 50 years old and above, So we sit down. So the little young guy, you know, Teddy had mentored him, right? So the little young guy like, man, we gonna give you a spot, right? So we thinking we gonna sit there because we gonna play it off. We just gonna sit and not do nothing. He moved it to another spot. Now Teddy got these little young girls that clearly just turned like 22 years old, right? So here we go. We're sitting there, and the guy was like, "Oh yeah, y'all got to buy bottles." Me and Coach Cole like, "Buy a bottle for who?"
Hey, I jumped up real quick and went to the
Coach jumped up there and got to that bar, and we ordered some chicken. And I said, Teddy, you gonna have to handle this because I'm not about to sit there and buy no 3 bottles for no $1,200 for some girls that are younger than my daughter.
He just met that night. Ooh. He just met.
Just met him. I said, bro, I am way too old for that. I invest money. I don't waste money. So let me tell you. So when I say we were the old men in the club, Rocky, we were the old men, but we were dead sharp though. Cause like he said, we were sharp. We were dead sharp. But yeah, the club ain't for us no more. The club ain't no for us. We ain't buying no bottles. We ain't buying no bottles, bro. It was crazy in there.
Oh man! Hey, well, thank you, Chuck, for giving us a call, man. We're gonna get back to recapping the games, and we're gonna preview the ones.
With you all.
All right, thank you, brother.
Okay, you all take care. All right.
All right, Coach Cole. We were wrapping up Alcorn and Valley. Anything you like to say about this game before we go over to Alabama State and Bethune-Cookman?
Man, you know, that's right with Alcorn State and Valley. You know, Valley of the Mississippi Delta. And, you know, Mississippi Valley is still trying to dig out of that hole. You know, Alcorn, that was one of those games you got to rev up. You know, Alcorn lost last week, a big one. They came back strong. So, you know, good victory. You know, whenever you can beat your rival in your state, man, it's big victory, no matter how terrible they are.
Yeah. Here's the next one we're going to go with. Now, this was your dark horse, Mr. Campbell. You thought Bethune-Cookman had something. And to be honest with you, you guys thought that Alabama State, they had Alabama State on the ropes. They had them in Daytona with a 4-string quarterback. Y'all thought they were outmanned, outgunned.
Hey man, that dark horse, that's a dead horse. That ain't no dark horse no more. That's a dead horse. Coach, I'm gonna let you go first because I've got a lot to say about this game right here. I'm gonna let you go first if you don't mind.
Well, you know, Bethune-Cookman, man, the coach is trying. He's losing a bunch of close games. He really should have lost to Clark last week. Of course, you know, Division I, Division II.
He did lose.
Yeah, he does. He lost, and you know, he's still on his honeymoon kind of. You know, this is his second year, and he's playing some close games, and that's all you need to be. Sometimes close going into that third year. So, you know, I take my hat. You know, I give him a feather because we chose Alabama State, even though they've lost their quarterback. That we thought Alabama State was one of the better football teams this year.
Okay. Go ahead, Coach Campbell?
Well, here's the thing. I really did think that. I thought this was, again, way Bethune's schedule was set up. They had Alabama State coming in. They had Jackson State coming from homecoming. I really thought there was going to be an upgrade on the talent. I think the problem is the execution. I have seen situations in situational football that Bethune could, because one thing I'm not a coach. And I know we have a lot of coaches, so I'm never going to disrespect any coach. But what I will question as a fan is the situational football that I watched during this game. That puzzled me. And when you're looking at, because coach, and we got a great question people are going to ask. We're going to have to circle back to the Prairie View Grambling game because that was a great question. But this is what I don't understand. You've got a freshman quarterback, and I'm going to go to the stats because this is going to make something. Zach Tim goes 8 for 12, 78 yards, 1 touchdown. Alabama State rushes for 308 yards, led by James Holesclaw, 15 carries, 120 yards. AJ Gates, 9 carries, 74 yards. Daquan Kinsey, 12 carries, 71 yards. If you know that you've got a freshman quarterback, that guy's going to have to throw for 400 yards to beat me. Because there's no way I'm letting you run the ball. I feel confident enough, I've seen enough that this kid, again, does not know the offense well enough. They're not going to open up the playbook. I'm telling those corners, you know what? We're going man to man. We're going to lose this game based on what you got to do, because the other 9 of us are going to be in the box. The other 9 of us are going to be in the box because that guy is not going to run the ball. And to me, I just do not understand when you got a limited quarterback like they had, and for them to then turn around and allow them to win that game. And again, once again, situational football, Bethune-Cookman, there were this lost the game literally. Bethune-Cookman has an excellent tight end, okay? Excellent tight end, a big kid. Okay, I think it's Omari Student. I think it's the kid's name, or Nance, one of the guys. The kid, the boot action with the tight end was open all game. You got a running quarterback, RPL boot action, tight end wide open. All you need is 3 yards. What do? They throw a Hail Mary pass that gets intercepted, was ran back for a touchdown, but got called back. But they still end up scoring, which was basically the spread of the game. What in situational football at 4th and 3, and you have the tight end has been dominant? Why would you try to run a Hail Mary pass play when you got a quarterback that can run the ball and all you need is 3 yards? And they did that 3 times in this game. I cannot understand it. I cannot. It makes no sense. When I saw that play call, it just hurt me because again, you have this tight end who they couldn't stop him. Boot action, let's go, first down, move the chains. And I just didn't get it. And like I said, it hurts me because I want to see Bethune. Like I said, my daughter went down to Bethune. I have an affinity for the school. You know, they're in Florida. Like I said, we brought them to the SWAC with us. But to lose these last 2 weeks, really, again, I don't know. I think the warning bells are going to go off down there in Bethune-Cookman.
Well, let me say this, Coach Campbell, is that when you got a freshman quarterback, right? I agree with you. But when you go down early to that freshman quarterback, even if it's just down by 6, you're not going to be able to force them to pass the ball. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they're going to continue to run it until you can get up on them. And unfortunately, Bethune-Cookman went into the 4th quarter, I believe, down 23 to 7. And with that situation, you weren't going to get them to run the football. Like, they weren't going to – they weren't going to throw the football. They
didn't press the action early in the game. That's my point, to make him uncomfortable. It wasn't – not to say Alabama State does not have a good offensive line, but my point of it is, if I know that's what they got to do, then I'm going to say this again. I am blitzing this guy. I am run blitzing. You are not going to run this ball. Again, if you beat me man on man and whoop me like that, then it is what it is. But I'm just sorry. I just think there was just a game plan. Again, if they got whooped at the line of scrimmage, I think, Alabama, they did start dominating the line of scrimmage. But I'm sorry. Like I said, it's going to be 9 people in that box. I'm stopping that run. Stopping that run. That's just me. I can't. No way.
Yeah, that was I just took a peek at the stats. And one team, Alabama State, had 22 first downs. 22, that's a whole bunch. Bethune-Cookman had 18. But here's the crazy part about it. They were 8 for 14 on 3rd down. So what was that saying? They were staying in front of the sticks. And what I mean by the sticks is their first play was successful. Everything you said, Coach Campbell, is correct. Everything you said going into this game, if they beat us, it ain't going to be by running. If they throw the big play, we'll lose that way. But we're not going to lose the game the way we're supposed to win the game, meaning they don't have a quarterback. He's not familiar with the whole total offense. He's not a big throwing guy. Alabama State ain't throwing over 15 passes, Coach, per game in the last 3 games. So you're right. I can't speak positive for the coach. And again, the other part of it is they turned the ball over. I didn't get to see the game, but I anticipated that they turned the ball over on their side of the field. meaning giving Alabama State a short field. And they did it early. So, yeah, that's a tough one on Bethune-Cookman. I thought that they would be much, much better. They fallen each week. You look at the score 26-21, but that wasn't really the score.
No, it wasn't.
No,
it wasn't.
They had that going into the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Well,
Coach, we can move on to the next game, which is what I would consider the best team in HBCU football at this point. But if I had to rank them, I would rank FAMU above them because FAMU is a defending champion. So I know there's a contradiction there, but I think NCCU is the best team right now in HBCU football. They travel to Norfolk State and dominate them 37-10. Norfolk couldn't pass the ball, and they ran it okay. But at the end of the day, North Carolina Central got up on them early, and it really nullified their running game, neutralized their running game by being up early, and they were just behind the 8-ball the entire game. And when you look at one stat, Coach, when a team is 2 for 12 in third down conversion, what does that mean?
That means they turning the ball over and giving the other team chances and opportunities to score. Without a doubt. The reason why they keep scores is to determine who wins the game and who loses the game. All that other stuff in between, how we run the ball and we were successful, man, damn all that. You know what I mean? The only thing counts is what we're looking at right now, and how you go about it. And you got to do whatever you need to do to win this football game. I've won some ugly games, and I feel good about it. And that's the way you kind of gotta be. You gotta do what sometimes it takes to get out your comfort zone. That's why I think offensively, I never want to be stagnated of saying I'm an option guy or I'm a spread guy or I'm a this guy. I'm a everything. I'm a get the job done winning guy, and I'm gonna do what my players can do and what they can do well. So those moral victories that's for those first year coaches. When you've been there for a while, Campbell, it's time to win some football games.
Yeah.
Hey, Coach Campbell, you got anything to say on this?
Yeah, just want to kind of point out some of the stats. Walker Harris, kid was impressive. 19-25, 245 yards, 4 touchdown passes. Rushing, Jamon Taylor, 11 carries, 86 yards, 1 TD. Arthur Rogers, averaged 10 yards a carry. 7 carries, 74 yards rushing. You know what I mean? So, again, you had Markel Quick, 5 receptions, 124 yards, 25-yard average, 2 TDs. Again, Jacqueline Day followed it up with 3 catches, 40 yards, 13-yard catch. So, again, North Carolina Central, as they say, looking like the best team in the HBCUs. Again, handle business in the Circle City Classic, one of those flagship classics that they're trying to bring back and rejuvenate and things like that. And Norfolk State, and I guess I'm going to have to do some research on it. We got everybody in Norfolk State. I thought their preseason all-conference quarterback was supposed to be back by now because I thought he was supposed to play. He was suspended for 4 games. So why are they still going with Jalen Daniels, who, again, once again, did not throw over 100 yards, 12 of 25, 85 yards passing. And, again, rushing overall. They did run 29 carries, and this team rushing 29 carries, 159 yards. Norfolk State, once again, just could not get it done. Central dominated this game overall. And like I said, once again, we're going to see as this now we get into conference play with Norfolk State, where their fortunes lie and what they're going to do going forward.
Sounds good, Coach.
Yeah. All right, Coach. We had 2 big games in the SWAC this week. This is one of them right here.
Time out, Coach. Time out. Coach K, you see, he don't put a big damn screen. The big screen, just one game.
Coach, this is a big game. Hey, man, we had a team that was, have won that game in the SWAC. Played Lamar, Strong, Jackson State Tigers.
You're absolutely right, Coach. but he had to put the big screen. He couldn't put him over in the goddamn corner. But look,
come on, Coach. We know we got a lot of Tigers watching the game. Man, that man's smart. He know how them views. You know Jackson State bring them views along with FAMU. That's smart, man. Got to put that in the big screen.
You know, hey, Coach Cole, I don't know how much of this game you got to watch. I got to watch quite a bit of it. And while I was up in the press box, Coach, the thing that I saw in this game is I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you, Coach. Jackson State did whatever the hell they wanted to do in this game. When they tried to pass, they could pass. When they tried to run, they could run. And then TSU wasn't able to do very much, Coach. So did I expect Jackson State to dominate the game? I absolutely did, Coach. I think Jackson State is one hell of a team. I just think, they beat themselves down in the hole. But I still think they're a really good team. What did you think, Mr. Cameron? Then we'll let the coach give his analysis.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I expect this game to play out exactly what it is. They have a saying over there on 14, I'll say JSU by 40, and they damn near did it. And one of the things that we all talked about is, again, not to say that he won't go back to McCoy and have him playing, but Jacoby Morgan is the quarterback for this team. There's no doubt about it. He keeps the team on schedule. He can make plays with his feet, make plays with his arms. He went 13 to 22, 185 yards, 2 touchdowns, but also carried the ball, 10 carries, 96 yards for 2 touchdowns. Had a long run of 72 yards, was just amazing and everything. And again, on the Texas Southern side, they had a kid, Chase Wilson, that was preseason, second team preseason, all conference quarterback, and he doesn't play. And he sticks with Jordan Davis, who only goes for 13 to 25, 115 yards, 1 TD and 1 interception. Now, he is on the shorter side like Daniel Richardson, but I'm sorry, he cannot throw the ball like Daniel Richardson. And this was just a struggle for Texas Southern. It looked like what he was. He really looked like a high school quarterback. And it didn't, it just, to me, when you see that the kid just could not find the passing lanes, why wouldn't you bring Chase Wilson, who actually had a good game against Jackson State last year? Why wouldn't you give him an opportunity to play? That's one of the things I know that Scotty was trying to talk to, and I called a couple of people down there to really get an answer of why he didn't play. And again, we know Coach said, hey, there's competition and things like that. But this is one of those games that, again, you like I said, the half was on 13-0. Game hadn't gotten away from it. So again, there was opportunities there, but I think that Jackson State, again, Travis Terrell just was electric in this game. Herb Mulligan played well. I think Jackson State, again, I think they wanted to make a statement. I think that Grambling loss stung their pride a lot because they were riding a high horse and it stung their pride. But I think Jackson State is focused and they understand that this was a conference game. They got to, because you can't slip up on games like this. You can't slip up on games like this. So Jackson State, like I told everybody, was going to handle that business. They don't lose games to teams like this. And so I'm not shocked by the score. They just don't. They usually win this game historically, and they won it big. And I'm not shocked. And they go down to Mobile with a lot of momentum.
Boy, you two handling Texas Southern like y'all pimps, just slapping them all over the damn place. But hey, what you guys are saying is true, man. I mean, I got a chance to watch the game and kind of focus a little bit, and got off and would come back on. And I hear the Jace Wilson thing and some issues on that with Jace Wilson and the team as a whole. Whether he could lead the team or not. Coach Chris. I told you guys I like the maturity of his staff. You could see it in his team. He's got to get some more players down there. I'm glad to see TC Taylor come back. And if you notice, Coach, they've been averaging about 400 some yards a game. They just slipped up against Grambling with 5 turnovers. Because then turn around and watch Grambling last week against Prairie View. It wasn't very impressive at all, especially in the second half. It wasn't impressive at all. So it was like you said, man. I mean, they just got after them real good, and it wasn't, no contest at all. Texas Southern, their pass protection broke down as well. And then they didn't make no adjustments to see where it was coming from. So the coaches got to do a better job of that. I think the kids are playing hard, and it's like you said, Coach. You know, Jackson State came in there trying to make up from last week. I think Coach Taylor had them all focused. They didn't get caught up in then coming out of the country and coming to the city. I take my hat off to Jackson State. They did a great job, and they did what they're supposed to. And that's take a team like that and really beat them and let them know that Jackson State is gonna make it real tough over there in the East.
Yeah, Coach. Well, hey, this was the big game. This is the game that I had the pleasure of being at. And it was a quite entertaining game, but like I said earlier, to sit down and watch the game, it was a real grind as a fan in the stadium. Like it was a grind. This game was really, it seems like both teams were playing uphill at one point. I also can say this, at halftime, the Grambling faithful, the G-men faithful, thought they had this was it in the bag. They were dancing and drinking plenty Jack Daniels and having a good time, Coach. Like they didn't even think this was gonna be a game anymore. And by the time we were walking out the stadium together after overtime, the Grambling fans were shocked, Coach. They were literally in shock by what had transpired in the second half. I can't even say they were even complaining about the result. They were in shock. They were shocked. But Coach McDowell made an adjustment, made a change of quarterbacks that looks like gave the team a spark. And for whatever reason, Coach, Grambling just decided they wasn't going to run the ball with a 10-point lead in the second half. And for that reason, I think they ended up on the short end of the stick, to be quite honest with you. What do you think, Coach?
It's something about Coach Dooley in the second half of some of these football games. And we've seen enough to say, I don't know if he gets conservative. I don't know that he has to make some adjustments. I don't know, but I know that game shouldn't have ended up like that. And they're gonna have to really look at that. I mean, you don't get 3 yards in overtime. You can't make 3 yards. You can't come up with a 3-yard play 3 times in a row. They got more experience than that. Coach Joseph got to do a better job of getting those kids prepared. You know, when you're losing games like that and you're falling off in the second half, he's got to see what's going on. You know, whether his bench ain't focused on the game and keeping things in, or at halftime you don't make adjustments, because the game wasn't that far out. I mean, they were only down 2 possessions. You know, so they'll have to do a better. They don't throw a monkey wrench in this whole thing. I know we'll get in and talk about the monkey wrench, and I'll let Coach Campbell kind of make his thoughts of the game.
Well, Coach, we had a Prairie View alumnus on Lionel, big PV guy, and he had a question for you, Coach. So on the coach's call, with Coach Bubba McDowell, SWAC coach's call, he spoke about at halftime that he went to his coaches and said, "You guys are not playing the right guys. I want you to start playing these guys." Coach, we wanted to. That shocked me as a layperson when he said that. So, Coach, how does that come into play? Because as you know, you hear the term CEO coach. So, kind of walk us through. You know, a coach like yourself that was a play caller that had his hands and everything, compared to what looks like Bubba McDowell is a CEO type coach, a Coach Prime CEO type coach. How does that work where you entrust your OCDC and I guess position staff to dictate who's playing in the game?
Well, the only two people besides yourself has the right to put a person in and take a person out is your coordinators or the head football coach. When, as a head coach, you let your coaches run everything and your assistants, you'll be in trouble. I had a talk with Coach McDowell, and we had a real good talk at the press conference on Monday. And you can't do that. You learn that as a head coach. The head coach got to make sure that you're playing the best players. And sometimes when you don't reinforce that, it happens. I tell you guys all the time, it's an egotistical business. It's an egotistical business. And it's all the way down. If you don't let people know who's damn in charge, again, always use Nick Saban, L.C. Cole, Pete Richardson, Broadway. These guys coach the coaches. That's the job of the head coach, is to coach the coaches. If he got to coach a kid, then he don't need you in that position. And I think Coach McDowell grew up as a head coach. I think he finally gets it as a head coach. Because, he had no head coaching experience. All he's ever been is a position coach. And that's your job as a head coach, to play the best 11 football players that you have on offense, the best 11 on defense. And if he hasn't been doing that, maybe that's been the issue. Maybe that's been the problem. And maybe you will see a turnaround. And it's tough, guys, now that if you don't play your best player, you might not have him next year. You know what I'm saying? Because if your best player is not playing, and the other thing about this, guys, is at this level, very seldom do you have two deep, good players on 11 spots, on offense and 11 spots on defense. It's very seldom. It's one of the things that I didn't have my players give me a report on the guy. Grade your players. Because, hell, if one defense end is getting it done and he play a bad game, Coach Kevin, you think he ain't going to start the next week? Because the guy behind him is so bad that he's starting. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's a lot of, especially at this work level, I think that's a lot of busy work. You as a coach got to get everything out of those good players that you can. And that's what happened. I think Coach, if that's what happened, I think he grew up as a head football coach.
So Coach, can now, because you've been a position coach as well, Coach.
Yes.
Can let me think about how I want to say this. Can a position coach and a head coach have a different philosophy as it relates to who is the better player? Meaning that as a position coach, I think this type of guy is a better player. You as a head coach, you may have a different opinion about what's the better player. Does that happen a lot, or in those situations, who win out?
Well, it should be the head football coach. And I've had some rounds with some assistant coaches about what I want. And at the end of the day, it's what the damn head coach wants. And if the head coach ain't strong enough or he feels that he want to make his assistant coach happy, then let him go ahead. The thing about that is the head coach gonna get his pink slip before the assistant does. No, the assistant coach is a damn assistant coach. You do what I say do, and you play who I say play. Now I'm gonna give you opportunity, and we'll sit in and we'll have a personnel meeting. Every Monday, we'll have a personnel meeting. Or when Precy come in, we'll have personnel meetings. We'll have a depth chart on the board. But I'll be damned as a coach, as a head coach, that you sit in that office and you know that this guy is playing the wrong guy. That ain't happening.
Coach, me and you had extensive conversations, and You told me a story. We would keep the player names out of it, right? And the coaches' names out of it. But you remember telling me a situation, explaining to me a situation where you had one heck of a wide receiver. And the wide receiver was having trouble getting the plays or learning the concepts or whatever. Right. And the assistant coach actually wanted to play another player. And you told him, if you can't teach him to play, then you need to go.
Well,
so
yeah.
Explain your mindset in that, coach.
Well, because I believe in being a teacher myself that people learn differently. Meaning you can tell a kid what to do. A kid can see it on the film or on the film or on video, or a kid needs reps. But if he has talent, he needs to get out there. If it's you got to say, okay, I'm gonna put a rock in your right side, and when I say rock, you know to run a goal. If I put a piece of wood on your left side and I say out, you run out. I don't give a damn what you do, but we don't put the best 11 football players on the field because I believe in winning. I don't believe you can't have feelings in this business because it's an egotistical business. You know what I'm saying? You can't promise kids something and they get there and they're not the player that they're supposed to. You got to be careful on all that. You know, I always think about Nick Saban as a prime example, coach. And they got the athletes there. But Nick don't care. Whoever Nick bring in as a coach, this is what we're going to play on defense. We're going to be a cover 2 defense. And I'll let you go on offense, but whatever you go, you better have some run game involved. And then everything else is just like it under me. You're going to cut your hair. You're going to shave. When we travel, you ain't going to wear footies. You know, you're going to have a collar shirt on. You're going to go to team events. And I don't give a damn who you are. You could be the quarterback. But everybody is going to do, you got to have everybody on the same page. And I've had coaches that have went behind my back and, oh, well, that's coach's rules. But I didn't have them for long. I had to let them go, you know, because I believe that everybody got to be on the same page. Everybody. If we say ain't no earrings in here, that's it. We say all white socks, that's it. And you have some coaches, man. You have some assistant coaches, man, that will argue at a head coach. But that will only happen one time with me. And you know, I had a coach, and I tell you a story. We were at Mississippi Valley, and we found the kid that was in the room. He was in the room doing some things that he shouldn't have done. And so I said, look, we're not going to play that kid this year. So we get to the game, and he was in there with a trainer. And I said, the trainer ain't going to be able to participate nor the player. So we got to there, and I'm sitting on the bus because I'm thinking in my mind, this is a big-time player for us. And we making our run towards the championship, Coach Campbell. And I'm thinking, man, there's no way I can't let this happen because I could lose my team. When I get back to the university, I got to answer to, you know, the athletic director and all that kind of stuff. I said, he can't play. So the coach comes off the field, and he said, man, you don't want to win the championship. I said, man, I don't care about winning no championship. But ain't no one player going to dictate what we're going to do when he can't play, period. So I go back on the field. They meet up as a staff, one part of my team that I don't want to give it away. And they come out. I meet them halfway. And I'm like, what the hell? We out on the field. I'm the only one could call meetings and keep it. And we bump shoulders and all that kind of stuff. And I put his ass off the field right then and there. We had the guard there, and I told the guard, either you put him off or I'm gonna call the president and get you out of here as well. And I ended up putting that coach up in the stand. We went on to win 30-0, and I had to deal with the coach coming back. But I also had to swallow I ain't gonna say swallow my pride, but I also had to think once we got back, you know, talking with the AD, talking with the president about, I had to make a decision. And I knew that my kids wanted to play for this guy. You know what I mean? Even though I was great at sending him off, I thought it was important that I take my pride out of it and let the coach continue to coach. because the kids wanted to play for Noel, and we went on to win the SWAC championship. So those some things that a head coach goes through. But I'll tell any head coach, that's why they call you head coach. That's why they pay you the money. You got to be in control of your football team. If you're not, man, it's going to cause some confusion. And those are the same coaches, and I'm sorry to talk so long, those are the same coaches that leave that office and tell people how you're not in control of that football team.
Absolutely. Now, this is the last thing I want to, it's kind of related to this. Let's be straight. EA says, let's be straight up. A lot of coaches just don't like players. No matter how good he is, will try to run him off or discourage him. What is that something that happens, Coach?
Yeah, most definitely. You got some coaches that need the players they coach to pat them on the back and make them feel good. Some coaches don't like a quiet guy. We had this kid named Tyrone Butterfield, coach at Tennessee State, that transferred to us at Michigan State. And he was just a slow-moving guy, but he was a 4-3, 4-2 guy. He's one of the top players in the country. He was a quarterback coming out of Miami-Dade County. And he went to Michigan, and he transferred to her. And the strength coach we was in our personnel meeting, and the strength coach is telling us how he don't get in there and lift weights, how he's not a leader. Well, that ain't the kind of kid he is, coach. And he said, man, I don't think he's the guy that we want on our football team. And of course, my brother was a head coach. I had to use brother, call mama, everything. I had to put my hand up and say, let me tell you something, coach. I'd rather you get out of here than he get out of here. I said, is he on time at the weight room? Yeah. I said, does he break any team rules? Yeah. I said, yeah, he don't talk. He's quiet. Coach, get out of his personal. You just said, if you lift weights, if you don't lift the weights you want, that's okay. I said, this guy's a 1,000-yard receiver. He's a 10-touchdown receiver. And guess what? He's the #1 wide receiver in Tennessee State's history right now. I think he caught 76 passes for 1,100 yards or something like that. Yeah, coaches do get involved with personnel, with personal vendettas with players. I've coached some players that I just did not like, but I promise you that I never, if that mug could line up and go by team rules, he was gonna play. He was gonna play, and you get a lot of that. You get a lot of coaches that get into personal issues with kids because he won't listen to you or what. As long as he's not breaking team rules and doing what he's supposed to do and be where he's supposed to be, I could deal with any kid. But if a kid is disrespectful to the program, then yeah, he's got to go. He's got to go.
All right, Coach, we're going to try to get through these picks in 15 minutes, Coach. We're going to say 11 minutes because we've been here almost 2 hours. See, Coach, we doing overtime. You just getting warmed up, Coach. All right. So we got some pretty easy ones, and then we got some ones that are a little more difficult. So Tennessee State and Linwood, who you got, Coach?
Tennessee State. Linwood is the most loserous program there, and Tennessee State next to them. So I'm gonna give Tennessee State the win.
All right, Lincoln, PA, and Morgan State, Coach.
Hey, you got one of them old helmets for Florida A&M, Camel. You bring a big extra large for Coach Rocky, and I got mine from TSU. We'll beat Lincoln and Pennsylvania. Yeah, they the armpit of black college football. Any Lincoln team in black college football right now, they ain't no good. So if they say Lincoln, they lost.
What about this one? We got Coach Rhode Island and Hampton. That ought to be a good one.
Man, one of my best friends, man, he's a Rhode Island guy, man. He always talking all that Rhode Island. I got Hampton over Rhode Island.
I'm gonna take Hampton too. Who you got, Campbell?
I'm going to take Hampton on this one.
All right. Hey, another battle of whites against the blacks. All right. So we got North Carolina A&T against Richmond. Now they said they beat the blacks, but they haven't been doing a good job of it here recently. And so what do you think they're gonna do against the whites?
Man, A&T stinks, man. They stink, Coach. They stink. They don't got rid of Coach Washington. They don't jump up in this league. They're not financially ready. Richmond big.
Okay. All right.
The Spiders.
I agree. So, all right, on this one right here, we got St. Francis against Delaware State. I think Delaware State gets in the win column this time, Coach. I think Delaware State wins.
Not against St. Francis, Coach. Not against St. Francis. We're gonna give them. They did a good job last week. They surprised a lot of people. I don't have them beat St. Francis.
What about you, Coach Campbell?
I think I'm gonna go with St. Francis. I'm with Coach. They're playing the NEC. I think St. Francis is not a great team, but I think Delaware State. Again, I'm not sold on. I think Delaware State losing a close one.
All right, South Carolina State. They're playing another PWI, a team that really, by all accounts, barely beat Tennessee State. How do you think South Carolina will fare, Coach?
I like Chennis Berry because Chennis Berry is a heck of a football coach. Tennessee Tech is a good football team. I've faced Tennessee Tech several occasions, man. But I'm gonna go with Chennis Berry close because he can run the ball and they play great defense in South Carolina State. And they're disciplined and they're gonna have better athletes. South Carolina State.
What about you, Coach Campbell?
Both of these teams are 2-2. Again, friend of the show, Chennis Berry. I'm just gonna say this game is a Tennessee. I'm just gonna go out on a limb here. Again, this game was at home. I think South Carolina State wins this game. But again, I think Tennessee State wins in the close. Tennessee Tech.
All right. I'm gonna take South Carolina. I'm gonna be with Coach on this one. I'm gonna take South Carolina. All right. I'll pick this one. North Carolina Central and Campbell. I really think North Carolina Central is a really good team. I think Trey Oliver is a hell of a coach. And if you let Delaware State score 41 on you, I think Trey Oliver going to score 60. So I'm going to take North Carolina Central on this.
Man, I know head coach over there, Coach David over at Campbell. Man, I got Trey Oliver big. North Carolina Central beat them by 2 touchdowns. Ain't no way you could lose to Delaware State. Evidently, his talent don't fell off over there.
They didn't lose to Delaware State. They didn't lose, but Delaware State did score 41 on them.
Oh, they beat Delaware 46-41?
44-41.
Yes. You still can't play that close to Delaware State.
What about you, Coach? Coach Campbell?
Listen, man. I had to buy a new Escalade because the man said he was going to get the rim stolen off my old one. So, anytime a man threatened me, I got to be wary of him. So, I'm going to North Carolina Central, man. I think this is a game. And this is a great thing about North. Over the last 3 years, these are games that they win. They have been the standard bearer of beating PWI, FCS squads. So, again, I think that the beat doesn't stop here. I think Campbell is not as good a team as them. I think they beat them 2 touchdowns.
Now, this is an interesting game for Prairie View A&M in the middle of the SWAC C schedule. They're 1-2. They play in Corner Word.
What made it interesting? Besides, they shouldn't be playing them.
Well, I mean, it gives, they've made a quarterback change, Coach. And this is a game where they could get the quarterback some experience, find out what he can do. And to be honest with you, they can experiment a little bit, and it may not cost them very much. So,
but
I think they're going to lose the game against Incarnate Word, to be honest with you. So I got Incarnate Word. Who do you have, Coach?
Yeah, they're going to get somebody hurt. Incarnate Word is a good football program. You know what I mean? It's going to be Incarnate Word big. They got a good football program down there in San Antonio.
Incarnate Word, same conference with Lamar, McNeese. They've traditionally played Prairie View. Prairie View does not beat them. Prairie View's not going to beat them now.
Absolutely. All right. Virginia Lynchburg and Texas Southern. Did they buy them is it homecoming, Coach?
Yeah, it's homecoming, Coach. Lynchburg's coach, I guarantee you his coaching outfit, every time he go home, his wife goes, said, boy, we must have played for homecoming again because you smell like barbecue. Every game, coach, they come out the gate playing homecoming. So every week they playing homecoming, coach. So Texas Southern, a winner.
All right. Texas Southern wins. You got the same thing, coach?
Easy, like I say, it's homecoming. Texas Southern gets back on it. All the women down there in Houston and Megan State, they're all going to be looking good down there this weekend.
All right. Nichols State and Southern. Now, I'll go ahead and pick this. Nichols State. Again, this is what I contend. I contend that Southern isn't a very good team. Even though they beat Prairie View, I don't think they're a very good team. I think they don't have a very effective quarterback. But we'll get a chance to see, won't we? They have Nichols State, which is a pretty decent team historically. And I think I'm going to take Nichols State real big. What about you, Coach Campbell?
Nichols State lost their last game. Sacramento State got beat, So my thing is, again, I look for them to, Southern just doesn't win these games. They just don't win these games. So I don't see anything change at Southern. Like I said, I think they've got problems on the offense. I think they've got a problem with the coaching trying to identify what this team is going to be. And I think they're going to have rough ones. So no, I think Nichols will beat Southern.
Well, Sacramento State, coach, they alumni raised $38 million. And they want
to go D1, coach. Yeah. They want to go D1.
Yeah. So they got their NIL going. So they got a couple folk down there. You know what I mean? When I was at Southern, man, and Texas Southern, we would go and play Nichols State. Do they play them in Baton Rouge or in down in Nichols, down in Thibodeau? Man, every time I went down to Thibodeau.
No, they haven't been home. Southern is at home.
They come to Southern. Come to Ace Mumford.
Yeah. And we were 9-0 playing Nichols State when I was at Southern. And they were 0-9. And they actually came in and beat us. Because that day, or during the day, it was about 80 degrees. But by night, the temperature had dropped down to like 40, 35. It was freezing, man. And they ended up beating us, putting us at 9-1. But Southern is too inconsistent.
Well, let me say this. Nichols beat Mississippi Valley a couple weeks ago, 66-0. So how many? What you think they'll do to Southern?
Wow. Well, I'm gonna pick Nichols State as well, coach. Let's just say that. I think Southern is just too inconsistent right now. Still trying to find itself.
All right, let me go next. All right, this is a big game. We got two big games, coach. This is one of them. And the reason why this is a big game, this is a game that I believe that Connell Maynard can save his job if he wins this game, coach. He's on the hot seat. Everybody realizes he's on the hot seat.
Well,
does he get it done, coach?
I don't think so, and this is the reason why. T.C. Taylor has got them kids together. They could score points, and they could score in bundles. I think they're playing solid defense. I just think Alabama A&M and Coach Maynard, it just comes a time that it's just time. It's what they say, time up. They just play solid football. Nothing great, nothing, no shine. I just don't think right now Jackson State is hard to stop them on the offensive side of the ball. It's not like A&M is explosive on offense. I got Jackson State big.
Yeah. I'm going to go ahead before Coach Campbell picks, I'm going to go ahead and pick. I just think Jackson State is a superior team. As I said before, I expect big things from Jackson State moving forward. And I wouldn't be surprised if this is a 40-7 game, And so I think Jackson State big. What about you, the man from Jackson?
Hey, I'm glad you said that because here's the thing. when I would travel from Jackson to Tallahassee, you would go through Mobile, and everybody knows you would take Highway 49, and then there used to be a little highway called 98, and it used to be called Bloody 98 because it was bad wreck. They would have these big logging 18-wheelers that would come, and people would fall off the side of the road. They actually finally made a 4-lane.
It goes all the way into Florida?
Well, yes.
Into Pensacola.
It takes you all the way to Pensacola.
Yeah.
So 98. So we used to call it Bloody 98. This is going to be a bloody game because JSU is going to bludgeon these guys. This is going to be a bloody game like Highway 98, as they used to call it. Because I'm going to tell you something, man. This is what I started this, and Jay White, who's a proud A&M alumnus, I told him that A&M was only going to win 2 SWAC games. This is one of them not going to win. Jackson State is going to start because really what was supposed to happen, we were supposed to beat them last week, and Jackson State was going to have the U-Haul ready for them this week. So the U-Haul gets delayed one more week. But no, Jackson State comes down there big, Mobile. JSU's going to show up. I mean, that's an easy ride, like I say, for them people from Jackson. And then all those South Mississippi Tigers, they're going to be over there in Mobile. They're going to party. Hopefully the weather holds up. I heard there might be rain coming again. But no, Jackson State.
What you need to know today, it's Friday, October 4th, 2024. Number 1, Hurricane Helene is now the deadliest storm in the United States since Katrina in 2005, with well over 200 deaths recorded and nearly half of those in North Carolina. Entire towns have been destroyed and over 1 million people remain without power from Florida to Virginia. President Biden announced the deployment of 1,000 active duty soldiers to assist with relief efforts, while Vice President Kamala Harris visited Georgia to pledge federal support. Number 2, Black History Month is going on in the United Kingdom with the theme Reclaiming Narratives, focusing on correcting historical inaccuracies and celebrating Black Britain's successes. A blue plaque will be unveiled in West Kensington, honoring figures like Marcus Garvey and Malcolm X, who once stayed there. This year's theme also addresses the legacy of slavery, with events like Bristol's 50 Plaques and Places exhibition, highlighting those who profited from the 1833 Slavery Abolition Act. Number 3, starting this month, Americans can order free COVID-19 test kits to be mailed to their homes via covidtest.gov. Households will be able to request up to 4 nasal swab tests through the federal program. The test will detect current virus strains, arriving just in time for the holiday season. Number 4, a D.C. Superior Court jury awarded $930,000 to Diana Portillo Medrano, a trans woman, after finding she faced workplace harassment and retaliation due to her gender identity. This is believed to be the first jury verdict in a transgender employment discrimination case under the D.C. Human Rights Act. Medrano sued International Golden Foods, a McDonald's franchise, for discrimination and wrongful termination after filing a complaint with the D.C. Office of Human Rights. Number 5, entrepreneurs Dr. Tiffany Bailey Lash and Dr. Tasni Ann Dubois are committed to preserving the history of Atlantic Beach in South Carolina, a historically Black-owned beach. Established in 1934 as a sanctuary for Black travelers during segregation, Atlantic Beach became a popular destination for notable entertainers. Now the entrepreneurs aim to revitalize the area, starting with their luxury rental property, Serenity by Tulare, while encouraging more Black investment to honor the town's legacy. Here's your daily inspiration from Yogi's Jewels. Life is a series of choices. Let's choose joy, understanding that joy comes from within. I'm Sybil Wilkes.
My name is Danny Wilson, and I won $500 on the lunch break with AJ Jones.
BS3 Network, changing the way you watch TV.